one more video on vocal comping. By the end of this video, you're going to learn a go-to Logic stock vocal chain of mine. You're also going to learn why it's important to track most of your audio in the session before you start adding a bunch of plugins to your session. Anything with audio going in there, I'll try to keep my session light. I'll tell you why by the end of this video. Check it out. Let's go to this bridge here and finish it up.
Thinking about you, first thing in the morning, straight into the afternoon. Thinking about you, baby, it's all I ever do. Man, we used to be so good, so good.
I like that take.
Thinking about you, first thing. Now I'm thinking about you, first thing in the morning, straight into the afternoon. Thinking about you, baby, it's all I ever do. You, baby, it's all I ever do. To the afternoon, thinking about you, baby, it's all I ever do. Right now I'm thinking about you, first thing in the morning, straight into the afternoon. Thinking about you, baby, it's all I ever do. Right now I'm thinking about you, first thing in the morning, straight into the afternoon. Thinking about you, baby, it's all I ever do.
I like a little bit of all of that, so I'm glad I listened through all of them. Let me select this, see what this sounds like.
Right now I'm thinking about you, first thing in the morning, straight into the afternoon. Thinking,
Let's smooth that out.
ever do, man, we used to be so good, so good. Right now I'm thinking about that. Right now I'm thinking about that. When you used to kiss me, when you really kissed me back. Girl, there ain't no way that I'm forgetting that. It doesn't matter. When you used to kiss me, 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 when you really kissed me back. Girl, when you used to kiss me, when you really kissed me back. When you used to kiss me, when you really kissed me back. Girl, there ain't kiss me when you really kiss me back. Girl, there ain't no way that. Girl, there ain't no way that. Girl, there ain't no way that I'm. Girl, there ain't no way that I'm forgetting that. It doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter what I do. 'Cause I'm. It doesn't matter what I do, 'cause no matter what I do, I do, 'cause no matter what I do, 'cause no matter what I do, I do, 'cause I do, 'cause no matter what I do, I'm probably thinking, 'cause no matter what I do, I'm probably thinking about you.
It's nice.
I do, 'cause no matter what I do, 'cause no matter what I do, 'cause no matter what I do, I'm probably thinking about you. What I do, 'cause no matter what I do, I'm probably thinking about you.
I dig that. Listen to this outro.
Probably thinking about you.
Couple more options.
I'm probably thinking about you.
Pitchy.
I'm probably thinking about you. I'm probably thinking about you. I'm probably thinking about you.
I just like it plain and simple.
I'm probably thinking about you.
So to expand these tracks here, I'm selecting Command, clicking my arrow key up and down, if you guys are wondering about that. Let me close this. And we've got a comped vocal, and that didn't take us too long. Before I commit, before I do anything else, guess what I do? I make a copy of each one of these tracks. So that was my verse vocal up here. I'm going to say verse, copy, and then I'm going to select these, and I'm going to option, click, drag, which makes a copy. I'm going to mute it. I'm going to select H, which means hide the track. I'm going to hide that track. come down here to where it says vocal chorus. I'm going to make a copy. I'm going to select these two tracks. Click Option, click Drag. And I'm going to make sure that that says copy as well. Mute it, hide it. Do the same thing with this bridge. Why am I doing this? Because you want to make sure after any tuning or anything else that you do to these tracks that you have an original backup copy that you can always revert to, so you can commit, fly, adjust the timing, all these different things. But if you want to go back to the original take of how originally was sang into the microphone with the breaths and everything, sometimes you want to revert back to those takes, so it's important to have a copy. That's why I want to teach you guys to make a copy of every single track that you do when it comes to vocals, for sure. So I have these muted, I have these selected. It doesn't have to be selected, but they all have the H selected, which means they will hide when I click H. So now I can work with these three tracks any way that I want to and know that I have a backup. So that's pretty much it. We got our vocal comped up on all three tracks. I'm happy with the performance on those. So let's talk about what else we might add before we move to adding harmonies on these. The reason I wanted to wait before I added harmonies is because I wanted to comp up the takes and decide which of my main takes that I need to harmonize to. I'm just going to go ahead and select all three of these right now and create a track stack. Selected all three with Shift, and I'm going to Control click, and that brings up this menu right here. I'm going to create track stack. I'll call this lead vocal. Now I can affect this track stack and it'll affect all of my takes. Instead of applying plugins to each individual take, I could take each section and it kind of appears as one vocal track now in my session. So we'll just do a little bit of simple EQ here. I'll just pull up the standard EQ. I'll cut to about 100. And that's pretty much standard for any vocals. Sometimes female vocals you'll come up to about 200, but for right now we'll stick at about 100. And I'll apply some gentle compression. Just pull up a stock compressor here, and I'll go to the vintage FET. Basically that's UA76 or LA76, any of those things, if you have the Waves plugins. But for right now, this is our stock version of that. So let's hear how this sounds.
Ain't no turning around.
Again, like I always preach, we don't want this reduction meter going past about 5.
Remember, that's what you told me. How could I let you down?
And also at this time, just so we can listen to kind of a mixed vocal, I'll add some reverb here. So I'll create a bus. I'll go right here underneath my signal chain here, go to my open bus, bus 3. Make sure raise the volume of this fader right here, or click Option, click, it'll raise it to 0. And come over here to where it creates this bus. We can call it Verb. And I'll just do a little stock reverb here. Chroma Verb's fine.
Like you don't even know me.
I'll bring that send
Ain't no
out.
reason to rhyme, it's like the harder that I try not to. I'm probably thinking about you, probably wishing you were someone thinking about me.
And I heard both those vocals overlap, and we'll fix that here in a minute. I'm just trying to get a decent mix while we listen. I'll also do a little bit of, I'll do one more send, I'll do a little bit of delay here. So I'll create bus 4, Option, click, brings that fader up. And on this bus, I'm going to listen to what the stereo delay sounds like. I'll change this delay to a shorter time, which will be 16th dotted and 16th triple. Let's hear how this sounds. Bring the high cut down a little bit.
Probably wishing you were someone thinking about me.
Alright, I know it sounds like a mess right now. I'll bring the low cut up a little bit on each to about 100. And I'll mix this fader down and it's going to sound right. Check this out.
Ain't no turning around. Remember, that's what you told me.
So yeah, we're kind of diving in mixing, but that's just as I build out the rest of this track. I kind of want to hear it what it would sound like more mixed in the track. So you can apply effects. Just don't go too crazy with throwing too many effects and plugins on your channel as you're tracking vocals. We're no longer tracking on the specific track, but obviously the more plugins that you have on your session, the more that your computer has to work to keep that session going. So it's going to be more taxing on your computer to apply plugins as you're still trying to record information in. So keep that in mind. It's much easier to apply plugins towards the end of your session and have a more enjoyable recording experience, and keep your session light on plugins on the early part of the sessions. So now that I have my lead vocal comped and mixed, I'm ready to do some background vocals. So that's what's next.